Alright, real talk, guys. Real talk time. Welcome on back to the Nerdcast for the next episode of Planetbase. I had to roll back my save because when I told them to carry 100 starches out here, everybody starved to death. So apparently your civilians are too stupid to stop carrying things out to a boat, and they'll starve to death if you do anything bigger than a load of maybe 40 or 50. Be careful about that. Luckily the game auto-saves a lot, and so it's not that big of a deal. I was able to fix the issue, but it kind of sucked. Still, we got time, so I'm still going to do some pretty heavy carrying in here, if I can. 36, 50 in there seems to be about the most I can manage with 3 airlocks feeding into here before people get stuck in the airlock queue and they just start, like, starving to death. I'd actually like to see some retrofitting on that one where, to keep that from happening, if they get down to a certain amount of hunger, just have them drop their stuff wherever it is and have them go get food, you know, and work on whatever. Make, like, hauling a really low transmission. Oh, what is this? A sizable group of injured miners are asking for help. Yep, let them in. I don't have a ton of medical supplies, but I have enough. The other thing is that we have too much starch, and so I need to get rid of some starch, like, right now. I think if any of these starch pads can go elsewhere, we'll have a lot more luck. But we're producing way too much starch at the moment, so we need to get that to a point where we're not quite producing so much. And that would make our lives a little bit easier. So I'm just going to throw onions in. I mean, we don't even really need them. Probably just throw in onions and medical supplies since I go through medical supplies at like a breakneck pace. I'm not saying that to be punny, I guess. But I just wanted to get rid of some of this stuff. The visitors that just came on board, how are they looking? Like, how bad are the injuries? It looks like they had some kind of serious cave-in. They've all got purple pants, too. Yo, dog, I dig your purple pants. Apparently, they're undies. They have, like, underwear full bodysuits. I don't like that. That's not sexy. Like, when you get around to, like, space sexy time, like, like, once you get to it and you're, like, taking off your clothes, because that's the good part. When you're taking off your clothes and you're like, oh, yeah, look at my flab muscles. But anyways, once you get to the good parts, I like bare flesh, and unfortunately, that is not sexy underwear. On a man or a woman, that is just like, so why are you wearing a unitard underneath your clothing, friend? Why is that a thing that you have chosen to do here today in front of me? So I'll probably go slow on some of this after wiping out my colony on accident by failing to properly allocate resources for carrying jobs and stuff like that. It's made me a tad nervous about the prospects of moving things around. Food's looking good. I mean, it's almost like we can't produce meals as fast as we're producing raw materials, which makes me think we may have the need for another cantina down and in here somewhere. This one doesn't look like it's that popular, but I mean, I think it's doing okay. The problem is that right there, where it doesn't produce meals until it runs out. That's such an odd system. It should sit there and it should process all the vegetables until it has what, you know, it has a full load. That's still one of those mechanics that I'm very, very odd about. Like, you should be able to front load a lot of meals, and for some reason it stalls after it only has one meal inside of it, so, what do I know about anything? It's not like a huge deal. It's a thing that you learn to work around. But I've always been of the opinion that if a game has a mechanic that you have to work around, it probably should just be streamlined or removed. Just my opinion about game design. Obviously, I'm not a game designer, but I do play a lot of games. And I do review games and things like that pretty frequently, so I think we're only going to be able to fit in a little cabin over here unless they move this shit around. I thought I could put one right here. And then when I was looking over here a minute ago, it seemed like there might have been a spot over here where it lights up for just a second. But we'll come back once that's all been cleared out. We got another colony ship coming in. It's got a biologist and an engineer for me. Good, because there's plenty of biology work to be done. No, I'm not coming on to you, new member of my society. Not coming on to you. It's just, it is what it is. So for right now, let me take a look at the spread of who we got versus who we don't. I wanted to get my guardsmen up to maybe 15% of my population because we've been having some real problems with invasions lately. And I wanted to make sure that we have enough guys to kill anything that comes at us, bro. I also need to buy some guns. That's the other half of it, is that until I have guns, this is kind of a weird situation for me. I will more than likely trade those in. We've got biologists running around. This is a very, very busy thoroughfare. One might assume that the floor plates are going to need to be changed out pretty frequently just from people walking on them and wrecking them up all the time. Like, I don't know if you've seen your average hallway in an indoor high school, but they get pretty gnarly over the course of like 10 years or so. Got another guard and another biologist. I think the other problem that we might be running into right now is that we do not have the firearms to actually equip a lot of our guards. And so for right now, I'm actually going to take that off. 26 guards is pretty good, and we'll put the rest back into workers so that Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's the default configuration. We can always use more workers. We got a transmission. We have a ship containing a large group of spatial accident victims are asking for help. We get 1 prestige per visitor. Nah. Prestige, I'm sorry, I can't spend prestige. I can't spend prestige. If prestige was a thing that I could spend on like super awesome like next level space guns and stuff like that, I think I'd be okay with it. But for right now, yep, everybody get in combat. Dogpile on them. Oh, some of you guys don't even have guns. That's going to be enjoyable. On the plus side, we can do this like World War II Russian style, where once somebody falls down, you get to have his gun. So you might have a chance of getting a gun. Does that dude have cornrows? That dude has cornrows. His name is Dexter Cain. He does sound like somebody like that would kick your ass. My name is Dexter Cain. He sounds like he should wear a duster and a cowboy hat. And every time he shows up on screen, a harmonica is just like wow, 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 wow. Oh, it will fit. Yay! Cool. Get that done. Get them a nice new cabin on this side. Not really doing a whole lot of stuff other than retrofitting right now. And so in the previous episodes, we had been forced to deal with the fact that guy's got a hat. How come he gets a hat? I don't think they drop their guns when they die either. Like, I think you actually lose the gun when somebody dies. Is anybody making these down here? Let me go ahead. I'm going to prioritize this real quick. And I'm going to take them off spares real fast. Even though I know I might regret it. Got a trade ship over here. You got any guns? You got any GATs? On a 45% commission, I will take it. That's going to be expensive as all hell, though. Ah, well. What's the point in having money if you don't spend it? And honestly, I don't want anybody running attack ads on my presidency here saying that I don't provide my soldiers with the things that they need. It's political suicide. People don't like it when you mistreat soldiers and veterans. I'd be careful about that shit. I want them to have the guns and things that they need in order to buck the enemies of our society in the way that they deserve to be bucked. And so there it is. Sometimes you gotta buck a fool. Laser over here is really kind of seeming like a dumb idea, but I think I couldn't fit anything back in here anyways. Bob Villegas. What does Villegas mean in Spanish? It's not a word that I'm familiar with. Must just be a last name or something, but I'm sure it comes from something else. No, I do not want you to recycle the biggest food production place that I own. Thank you. Let's never have a dumb idea like that ever again, shall we? Go in right there. I don't think it's going to let me get away with a second one over here. Which is sort of disappointing, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, as the old song goes. The more private beds that I can smack in, the happier people appear to be. Like, I keep putting in private beds, and this keeps going upwards, so I assume that I'm doing the right thing here. This might be the last episode that I record for a little while, just because we've done all the stuff in the game, and now we're just kind of trying to see, like, how big we can make our city. I wanted to meet you guys in the middle, though, and maybe I'll agree to do all the milestones. And so maybe we'll go to consolidation and technocracy and all that kind of stuff. And once we finish all the milestones for this map, then maybe we'll move on to doing something else. And I thought that maybe sounded like kind of a fair compromise or whatever. That'll probably take us another 5 or 10 episodes. And I do like the game, and so I do want to spend more time with it. I actually don't think we're going to have to expand our infrastructure too much more. I think a lot of the public dormitories and things that we're using for right now are going to work. I've been trying not to bulldoze dorms quite so much as other things. We got a biologist and a medic. So with all these medics, I guess it'll help out because it'll mean that we'll produce a lot more medical supplies, which take damn near forever to produce. We got a spares workshop over here that's working overtime. Got 18 up and in right there. We just produced another gun, which is like hell yeah, because I need a surplus of those. So power situation is looking on up. Halfway through the day, and it looks like all of our batteries are going to fill pretty rapidly. We have going on over here. Bunch more visitation ships. We got a trade ship right there. Let's see to what he has. He's got $100 on a 10% commission, 165. That's workable. We only have to carry 17 things out there. Actually, I could take this back and we get rid of a starch that way, and that'll be a little bit nicer. Hell yeah, things are looking good. But as I was saying, I might meet you guys in the middle and do all the milestones, and then once we do all the milestones, I might move on to something else. But it's not going to take us long, I think, to hit 300 villagers. I mean, it's not a thing, and I think the only technology that we haven't gotten is the really, really big dish, I think. Like the gargantuan one. So, I think other than that, it's pretty much what we got going on. I do wish that we had more visitors. It actually takes them a while to get things done. I prefer trickle money, too. I don't like it when you get, like, a big burst of, like, 40. I like it when, as they go around, like, they interact with things, and as they interact with things, they then, you know, are like, oh, I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to spend $1 here. And I know it means more computations, but it looks cooler to me. How many you got? You got 2, you got 2, so we'll make a little bit of money right there. A couple more workers coming in, making things look nice and solid. I think after we got over that original hump that we had, that's really, really cool. I love the way that looks. I wish there was a way you could pull up the camera and look down on it directly from the y-axis. That'd be super sick so that you could actually see how it sprawls in a top-down way. I like it a lot, though. I do. I really, really do. So what's up with this bar over here? Did I just never do anything with it? Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and set up another bar, shall we? Get some tables. Looks good. I think I'm going to focus this one just on, like, throughput. So if we could go in on a couple of those right there. Maybe a water fountain. If it'll let me put in TV screens, I will, because I like spending money on dumb shit that we don't absolutely need. But at the same time, it makes the building look a little bit more robust and fun. And I am all about the funness. I mean, that's part of my job, is making sure that this is as fun for you as it is for me. And every day I'm pretty thankful, actually, that I get to do this, because I'm the kind of guy that's hated like every job I've ever had. And so getting to do this for a couple of years, while not relaxing, this is definitely a stressful job, believe me. If someday you plan on going into YouTube, listen to an old dog who's been doing this for, I mean, a while. Been doing this since 2011 or 2010. Actually, no, my first video was at 2012. So I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now, which on YouTube is a long, long time. Like, most YouTube channels don't last 6 months, let alone a couple of years. But it's a job that'll tucker you out. It's not hard physical labor. It's not coal mining. But it's definitely a 24-hour-a-day thing. Like, you don't get days off on YouTube. Like, you gotta, you know, pound your way through. And that's just the way she goes, Rick. But I think that if you enjoy the work, it makes the time go a little bit faster, and it's not quite so bad. You just kind of have to enjoy what you're doing on a certain level that's, you know, a bit more visceral than liminal, I suppose. Couple more of those little bad boys in there. Make sure that everybody gets a bed. I do wish that I had a head count for who had private beds and who doesn't. I don't know if there's a menu in here where I can look at that. But that would be the menu of the day for me. What do you have going on? What do you got for me? You've got a raw 40% commission. That's not too bad. It's not good either, but it's not bad either. Why am I still clicking? Sometimes I just keep clicking things, even though I know that I shouldn't, and usually heartache and terror spawn from that particular situation. I'm hoping it actually assigns the beds by proximity. That's the way that I would prefer for it to be done. I might be able to get a little guy in here somewhere. Maybe? It really feels like I should be able to fit a little guy in here. I don't know. Or maybe like over here. There you go. Perfect. Exactly. Exactly what I was looking for. And so if I can plop as many of these little bastards in here as possible, that'll also help out with our happiness, which you might note has been dallying around decent for the course of the entire playthrough, so that's pretty sweet. It's also helped our prestige out, because I think you get prestige points for every like specific amount of time that you leave this up above a certain threshold. We had a lot of trouble with our status on our welfare for a while, and I struggled with it because I felt like the bars and everything else were doing a really, really good job topping off people's moods. But at the same time, I think a lot of the objects and the bars and whatnot are a little bit inefficient in that they don't really They don't get a ton of happiness from any one activity. So apparently the planetary news is that Jed is drinking a beer. Like, Jed has decided to drink his third beer of the night after his wife said she'd leave if he had another one. This comes just 1 week after the announcement that Jed had lost his job. About to lose a little power right here. There it goes. Ain't no wind, ain't no nothing out here. So that means that it's time for me to add a little bit more to the grid. Since that denotes to me that we're relying a little bit too heavily on wind. Wind is picking up too much of the slack right now. I mean, I wouldn't hate to use space like that right there. I really wish that you could, too. Like, you could fill in the little gaps with random stuff. I mean, obviously, they'd need to be able to get there, but still. We got a little bit of space out here, I think. And it's not too far from an airlock. How are we looking on metal right now? We got 69. Well, shit. We're going all in on this bastard, then. And then if we end up not having enough power, I suppose I'll think about the possibility of dropping another battery or two in. But that should keep these cats busy for a little while. Looks like we are at 212 right now. 214, in fact. Looks like we got 2 more workers on in. Neo-Heisen. That sounds like a beer brand. Try out Neo-Heisen. They should be able to get these up and running pretty quick. I don't think I'm running a lot of constructors right now. Been trying to keep my eye out for them, but robots don't come along very often, and so, you know, you get them when you get them, I guess. You get them when you get them. We got another small cabin over here, which definitely means that it is time to drop a couple more beds in. Once that's done, it looks like we're taking a hit on plastics right now. So that will obviously have to be solved at some point. But at the moment, I feel like we're accomplishing things and stuff. Could definitely use more workers to file on into some of this stuff. These poor bastards over here haven't used the community dorm. They'll get over it, though. They'll get over it. Everybody unhappy, but ain't nobody using the bar. Solar panels up on that side. That solar panel's up as well. Keeping an eye on the batteries for right now. We might not make it through the night. In fact, I would dare say that I doubt that we will. However, with these 2 more things up, I think the problem is that we're not fully filling up all of our batteries because our draw is too much for right now. Oh, that'll bail us out too. And so now we got a sandstorm, so that's good. Set the speed on up. Probably let the constructor go out and do that job. I don't really care about it that much. It's going to damage him a little bit, but meh. It's over here. Visitor ship. Good. Get me paid. Get me paid. We can get that thing up and running. Sehr gut. That carrier bot's a little bit damaged right now, and I think that's because they're running in between locations and having problems. It's okay. I got more than enough engineers sitting around doing jack shit, nothing to where they can swing back out and maybe contribute to a little bit. I'd be able to fit something over here, too. Yep, there it is. I had it. There it is. There's a very specific spot that it wants. There we go. Gotcha! Another one joins the herd. We got a trade ship over here. I'm mostly looking out for robots at this point, but I will move stuff around a little bit if I have to. How's our happiness looking? I feel like we probably just took a drop off, yeah. I don't know if it's just because people are carrying stuff around or if they're messing around with things. My lord, that was close. Yikes. That'll make you worry. That'll make you worry. That'll do it. The other thing is that we have to hope and assume that maybe the people that are sleeping in these beds, like if it's assigning a bed way down here to somebody way up there, like if it's just going through iteratively and just like finding the first empty person that doesn't have a bed, I think that represents a problem. But if it does it by proximity, that would actually work out a little bit better. Proximity and then iteratively walking through, you know, who needs what. Oh, I ain't gonna do this cabin either. Okay. Well, apparently I'm missing out on jobs. Died of dehydration. The water system fail? Well, tanks are full. You die of dehydration, amigo. How does that even occur? Huh. Did we fill up all our batteries today? Good, all batteries full. We'll keep an eye on the usage and we'll make sure that the drain isn't too much. We got another trader over here. The very low commission. So I'm just going to clean him out real fast with whatever I have available. So there it is. We got a pretty good racket running actually right now. Oh, we lost another one too. So who's dehydrated? Might not have enough water fountains around. Not really sure. It's kind of an odd situation, isn't it? Some private quarters over on this side. Hell yeah, that's what I like to see. I'd like to fit something in there too. But, you know, we have a lot of cabins right now. Like, a lot of cabins. I think we've spent almost the last 7 episodes that I've recorded pretty much just squeezing in cabins everywhere we can put them. On this side, we have some workers manning the battlements over here. I might be able to fit in another cabin, like over here somewhere. Be sort of nice. Just a little bit of extra something. I'm just trying to give people sleeping solutions since... Oh, solar flare. Shit. Everybody inside. I worry about the solar flares a lot more than I worry about a lot of the other stuff. There you go. Everybody in. Hopefully we don't have anybody way out in the boonies. I don't think that we do. Spares production's looking a little bit iffy right now. So I may reprioritize that as well so that we're producing spares again. But they seem to go up and down, and I think it's just because the timers on the repairs seem to line up pretty well sometimes. 50% commission on that. That would require me to take out far and away too many things. I think the most I could get away with is like that right there. Like even taking out 30, that's a carrying job. It's going to take a bit. I think our flare has ended. And like that, I'm going to go ahead and swap things on over. So yeah, what we learned today in this episode that I'm recording is that you don't want to assign hauling jobs that have like 1,000 objects because they will starve to death hauling objects. And I applaud the work ethic, but definitely not the intelligence. I will see you all later. This is Planetbase. I'll probably play until we do all the milestones, and I think I'm going to make a call on that. Once we finish consolidation and technocracy and all that kind of fun stuff, it'll probably be time for us to move on to other things. But for right now, having a blast with the game. Really like it. I do think it's one of the better Steam offerings over the last... Oh, shit. Over the last year or two, I think it's one of the better Steam offerings. Keep shooting. Yep, there it is. Gun battles in space. I'll see y'all later. Hi to everybody.